Dang, you UFF?
Wound them up.
Wait, you want to start us off in talk trash?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, brother.
Tim was right there.
Syracuse got left out, all right?
Oh God.
What know about these rankings, Tua?
The rankings? I don't really pay attention to them, honestly. I haven't really paid attention too much. I just like watching football. Like if it's on and it's a good team playing another good team, I'll watch it. But for the most part too, you also hear a lot of guys, they take pride in their alumni, so if their school is up, then I'm like, all right, I'll take a look at your school. Yeah.
There was never an Alabama bias, right? By anybody?
You said what?
There was never an Alabama bias.
No, never an Alabama bias. Is Alabama in it?
They beat out Miami. They beat out Miami for the last spot.
I knew Alabama was going to do it too. I knew it. I already knew it. I knew it.
They were in.
Yeah, of course. You didn't think so?
I'm asking you.
Oh yeah, no, I knew they were in.
Obviously, you don't play Aaron Rodgers, but what's it going to be like being across from him, playing a team that he's on, considering how much he's accomplished throughout his career?
Yeah, I would say first off, a lot of respect to Aaron and what he's done throughout the course of his years playing at Green Bay. Obviously, we got to play against him 2 years ago, and he's a Hall of Famer. And whether he looks the same way he did in years past or not, like you're just going up against greatness regardless. The mindset that he has, and to be able to still play at his age is really remarkable. And I got a lot of respect for his game with how he goes about his business and how he does his things. I got a lot of respect for him.
This matchup was a long time coming. It was so long ago that you went there, and then this is last year. You faced them for the first time late this year, so it's been like how many months?
Yeah, no, it's been a long time coming, but it's super cool. I'm excited to see him go out there and have fun with his guys and play. Hopefully they don't do too good against our guys, but we're gonna come out there and we're gonna compete as well and just admire good football. If he goes out there and does his thing.
I think he turned 41 this week. Can you imagine yourself at age 41 still in the NFL?
I don't know. That's a long way to go for me. So I take it 1 year at a time. 26 feels good right now.
Well, I wanted to ask you about the I'm sure you've heard the questions and concerns about this team's toughness. As one of the leaders, how do you respond to people saying that this team is not tough, mentally, physically, can't handle the cold?
Yeah, I would say that comes more from an individual in the way that I look at it. It comes from individuals, and collectively, you got to all have that same mindset. That's why we have team football. That's why you're in team sports. And I think you got to look at it as, are you mentally tough and are you physically tough? Like they have to go hand in hand. And if one of those things have a kink in it, could go one way or the other. But yeah, that's what I would say with that.
How did you assess your game personally in the cold? Are there some positives that you can take away for next time you'll be in those environments?
Yeah, there's positives and there's negatives, especially when you lose. But there's things that you wish you could have had back in that game, and there's things that we just needed to clean up and be better with and more crisp. So, yeah.
Tua, you're not new to the idea of people having a lot to say about you, whether it's your play, the team you're on, or whatever. With some of the narratives, as Mike calls it, do you or the team feel like you have something to prove? I
think we as a team, as a collective team, we think we always have something to prove, whether things are going right or things are not going right. Everyone's going to have something to say, whether you're doing good or whether you're not doing good. And, sometimes guys read into it and they read too much into it and you can get lost. And it goes both ways, right? whether you lose and then you go down the rabbit hole of trying to respond to people, or when you win and you buy into, what everybody's telling you and whatnot. And, I feel like that's something that is around the league. It's not just us, but that is something that, will forever be a battle for a lot of the guys playing in professional sports.
How surprised are you this team's 5-7?
Very surprised. I don't think that shows the character of who we are as a team. Doesn't show the work that we've put in this offseason together. But, nobody else will say it but me. And I feel like this has a lot to do with myself, obviously putting myself in harm's way in the second game, going down, basically leaving my guys out to dry. That's what I would say. And anyone can have an opinion about, like, it's football, it's this, it's that. I do take heart to that as well. And just don't want to do that to my guys again. So, yep.
Play, speaking of which, there was obviously a play that got a lot of attention this past weekend with Trevor Lawrence. When you saw that play, you thought what?
Well, I actually heard from a couple teammates like what had happened, and they were having conversations about it. Then I went and looked at the play. That was crazy. I thought that was crazy. He was giving himself up, and defensive guy came and smoked him. And then again, I don't know the reaction time with being a defender, trying to go and make a play on a guy. So like I don't know all the logistics with that, but I felt like he did have time to sort of, even if he was going to launch, he could have launched out of the way, knowing that Trevor was giving himself up. So to that, I hope Trevor's doing okay. I hope his family's okay. I know that can take a toll on your family more than yourself sometimes, and I hope his wife is okay as well.
There was a comment, I don't know if you saw, where Tom Brady was suggesting that maybe there should be a penalty if quarterbacks slide too late, trying to take a look from the defender's point of view. How do you weigh all of that? I'm sure things happen so fast, it's got to be difficult.
Yeah, that's what I would say too. It's difficult, and I would say for the defender for sure, because they're trying not to give up as many yards as possible. So for them, it kind of goes against what they're trying to do essentially. But I'm glad I don't make up the rules, and I'm glad I'm not in any of those meetings to give my 2 cents or whatever. I'm glad those guys in the higher ups are, going to be able to talk about that one.
A lighter note, I wanted to ask you about Moana too.
A lighter note.
So you took your teammates and a lot of the younger kids to the movie. My personal opinion is Moana is the best Disney movie, just because it's educational about cultures.
Yeah.
As somebody who is popular, infamous, you represent your culture. You're very popular to Samoan Polynesian community. How important is that representation to you? Not just the movie, but knowing that an entire culture of people look up to me.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And when you look at it, it's so cool because maybe a lot of people don't understand that it's necessarily not one culture. It's many different cultures sort of mixed into one. Now in Moana 2, you kind of seen more of other cultures than you did in the first Moana, where it kind of felt like there was more Samoan, more Tongan. You can see some Hawaiian in there, and then in the Moana 2, you can see like Maoris in there. You can see Fijians are in there as well. Like there's you can see a little bit if you know or if you can understand. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that was cool. My personal opinion, I didn't think the songs were as good as Moana 1. Maybe that's a hot take, but but I think the songs in the first Moana stuck more than the second one. But overall, the kids enjoyed it. glad we got to get out with a couple of teammates and spend some time with their kids and their families.
How much is the tattoos and things like that about representing who you are and having all those kids look up to you? Or
Yeah, it definitely is a representation of who you are and your ethnic background. Different meanings of symbolism, and you can sort of tell, like, oh, this guy's Maori because of, you know, the way his tattoo looks. This guy's Tongan, this guy's Samoan. But yeah, they just all have different ethnic background meanings to them.
And what are you?
Samoan.
okay.
Yeah. And then Hawaiians have their own as well. They also had in Moana too a good amount of Hawaiian ordeals in there too. Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Dang, we ended on Moana. I thought. Thanks, guys.